Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of BS Rambles, something I'm doing on my YouTube channel where I'm just going to throw up a Heroes of the Storm gameplay and I'm just going to run my mouth behind it and hopefully some of it comes off enjoyable eventually. I feel like I'm pretty shit at it still right now. This is just in addition to the usual stuff I do on the channel, which is what this channel is really about. It's what it's named after. It's the two-stocked episodes, and those are the ones where all my friends come over to my place and we play the game Super Smash Bros. 4. It's all of our favorite game. I mean, I've been playing Smash since it was giving me blisters on the N64 controllers when I was 5 years old. So yeah, everyone comes over, we order pizza, we drink a bunch of beer, and we stream that live on Twitch. And I think that's really the platform that I'm realizing that the channel is made for, because it's more fun if you can watch and see how things are going the whole night and just watch the night progress. But at the end of the night, I go through and I try to pick out some of my favorite moments, some of the funniest stuff that happens, and I edit together into a highlight video, which I try my best to post on Sunday nights. Lately, I've not been great at that, but I'm gonna try to be better. It's tough when life gets in the way, but yeah, so I'll get that out on Sunday night. So if you're listening to this tonight, it'll be, usually the stream starts at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, but the best way to go is to follow my Instagram or Twitter, and I'll be posting the times on there. So tomorrow night, everyone will be over, and it's kind of exciting because my brother is home, and not my older brother Dan that you see on the stream. I think he's the only one that's been at every single two-stocked episode other than myself. It's my little brother. He's not been here because he's been in Oregon. He left Calgary about a month and a half ago to move in with his then girlfriend, now wife. They eloped in Oregon, and now they're back, which I'm very happy about. It's nice to have I was worried that he was going to spend the rest of his life living in Oregon, so it's nice to have them both back in Canada. I hope that they're here to stay. But yeah, he'll be on the stream tomorrow, and he is hilarious. He's one of the most frustrating people I've ever been around in my life because literally everything is a joke to him. But I think that that's going to make him really funny on the stream. To give you an idea how brutal he is sometimes, so we do this Christmas time for celebration, festivities, family, all things heartwarming. So on my dad's side, we have a pretty large extended family over there. We've got, my stepmom has 3 kids. One of them has a husband whose parents came too. Just everyone comes. So there's about 25 people that we're going to be over at my parents' place for Christmas time. So our solution to the gift giving thing was that we'd all sign up for this site called Elfster, and it's basically a Secret Santa thing, and you can post a wish list on Elfster. And my little brother decided to take this. He just decided that he fucking hated this idea of people posting wish lists. He saw someone post that they wanted a gift card on there, and he's like, "This is not what Christmas is about." And if you know Colin, that's like such a bizarre thing for him to all of a sudden be like the spirit of Christmas giving and decide to champion this cause. But he did, and he took a hard stance where he refused to join in on Christmas. So my stepsister's the one organizing it. She's coming to me being like, "Hey, Ben, will you please try to convince Colin to join in on this thing? I don't know what we're going to do. We can't just exclude him from Christmas." But he seems intent on that being the case, that he just gets left out of this thing. So they're not really sure what to do. So anyways, finally I convinced him. I'm like, "Dude, just join in on it at least, because your girlfriend's going to be there, right? Don't make her part of your shitty little anti-Christmas protest that you're doing in the name of Christmas giving." So finally I convinced him to drop his thing and just join the Elfster site. And my stepsister decided that she was going to engineer it so that I would draw, so that my little brother, his girlfriend, and I were all in the same little pool. So we'd still get a random Secret Santa thing, but we could only draw from each other, just to kind of protect the rest of the family from the wrath of Colin's protest, because last year he got my other stepsister, and he ended up not getting her anything, which was pretty brutal. So she's like, "Okay, well, if it's going to happen to anyone this year, it's going to happen to Ben, because they're brothers, he can handle it." Which was fine with me. Anyways, so Colin ends up getting me in the gift exchange, and he's late to showing up at the place because he had to pick up his girlfriend from the airport. And so I had to sit and watch everyone else open up their gifts, which I was cool with. And everyone's like, oh, haha, Ben didn't get to open anything. He got Colin this year. And I'm like, nah, he's going to show up with a gift later. Like, it's all good. Anyways, he shows up later. So he walks in with a gift bag. And it's got a little card on the front. I was like, whoa, this guy, he got me a card this year? Like, that was a pretty big deal for Colin to have gotten me a card. So I open up the card. And for those of you that don't know what I look like, if you watch the streams, you can see that I've got a bit of a receding hairline. And I'm pretty young to have a receding hairline. And my dad was bald when he's 20. My little brother's going bald faster than I am, but he feels that he's not, and that I'm going bald first. So he really tries to rub that in. Anyway, so this card says, "To the big bald-headed fuck." I'm reading this out loud in front of like the 20 people at our Christmas party. Colin gives it to me. I think right away he regretted it. He's like, oh man, I'm coming off like a bastard here. It might not be as funny as I thought. And I open up the gift, and the first thing in there is a SpongeBob Chia Pet that grows hair, meant to poke fun at my not being able to grow hair. He's like, here's something that can grow hair. And then the other thing in there is this it's this powder. It's black powder that you're meant to shake onto the top of your head, and it paints your scalp brown so that from far away people can't see they can't see my pale beige head, right? All they would see is like a brown block because my head is painted brown underneath my thin hair. Obviously like a big fuck you, but I was like, he started trying to play it off as if it wasn't some like shitty prank gift. He's like, it's actually like really good stuff. They spent a lot of money on that because he had an $80 limit. He's like, that's like $60 product you got right there. I was like, okay, I'm definitely not painting my head. This is obviously meant to make fun of me. But yeah, he'll be on the show tomorrow, and I think it's gonna make for a much better episode. There's nothing beats the dynamic of my two brothers and I. It's just like it's brutal, but it's very natural, right? Because we grew up together, and they especially have the ability to, Colin, more than anyone I've ever met in my entire life, has the ability to just like trigger you, you know? Like only the people that really know you know what buttons to push to make you freak out. And there'll be sometimes he'll say something to me, and I'll like right away spaz out, and I'll look up and I'll see him just like sitting there giggling and realize that nothing that he said to me in the last 2 minutes has been serious, and he's just been doing it all to make me mad, and he's so good at that. So if I'm feeling generous, maybe I'll include some of the times he makes me freak out, because I guarantee he'll annoy me at certain points in the video. It's kind of like Sonny kind of has the same ability with me, but I don't think he means to do it. And I think he was on episode 3, if anyone wants to see him. He's the one that starts out by tapping the microphone. Yeah, Colin, I'm so glad my brother's home. What else do I have for you guys? Let's see what I wrote down here. I'm just kind of freehanding. That's why it's a BS Rambler. I'm mostly just going to be rambling on here. I'm trying to think what else happened. Oh, there's this park by my house. And it's about a 200-meter loop. And it's about 500 meters from my house. So it's a short little walk. And on this 200-meter loop, there's a pond in the middle. The city decided to put a bunch of exercise equipment all around the park. So about every 10 meters at this park, on this 200-meter loop, there's a piece of exercise equipment. Now, what ended up happening to this park is that every single one of those pieces of equipment, became a Pokestop. So during the Pokemon Go boom, in my entire city, this was the place to be. And I remember seeing, like, I saw it all unfold because I was one of the people in Canada that tricked my phone into letting me download it early. So on the very first night you could possibly get it, I saw this thing on my phone. I was like, holy crap, we have to go here. So my girlfriend, her dog, and I all went to this park. And I even saw like a couple other nerds there that night. I was like, oh man, did you guys get Pokemon Go on your phones too? They're all stoked about it. And then like 3 days later, it released fully in Canada. And those first 3 days, there's a community of like 10 of us that were always hanging out there. Everyone knew each other by name. It was pretty fun. And then when it came out in Canada, it took about 2 more days. And following those 2 extra days, everyone in Calgary, I guess I just gave away where I live. It doesn't fucking matter. Only 8 people hear this. What are you guys going to do? It's not a challenge. Everyone in Calgary realized that this was the place to play Pokemon Go. And it used to be this quiet little pond park. No one gave a shit about the exercise equipment there. So I started getting these pan flips at my door as all the old people were complaining. Like the community association here is like 80 plus. Like it's a very old neighborhood. All these old folks are complaining that all these kids with their phones, all these damn kids with their phones are taking over our duck pond now and scaring away all the birds. So it completely decimated this park. Anyway, so the Pokemon Go boom was months and months ago. It was for a while. There was a point where on this path there was like crowds and crowds of people like I've never seen gathered before. Like I would guess at least 800 people would gather here. You couldn't find parking in my neighborhood in like a 500-meter radius around. People were parking outside my place and walking all the way over there. It was ludicrous. So these old people had a point. Anyways, there's still Pokemon Go people hanging out there. If you go past that park, there's nothing like it was, but you'll still see like 20 or so people hanging out there. I stopped playing Pokemon Go on like week 2. I think I got to like level 22, and then the game just slows down so much, and I kind of realized that there's no point to this game. So I got super boring super quickly. Anyways, this time I was going to the park to try out the exercise equipment. I was like, well, it's right by my house. I'm trying to exercise a little bit more, so maybe I'll go check this out. So I go to the park. I've got my headphones in. Right away, I started feeling self-conscious exercising at this place because all these people are like stopping at the exercise equipments to oh god, just try not to pay attention to what I'm typing right now. I'm just freaking out at this team. I'm too busy doing as much damage as any 3 of you put together to troll. I think, did someone call me out for trolling there? Nah, man. These games, I always have this internal struggle with myself with Heroes of the Storm because it's such a fun game. Like, it's my favorite game by far, but I don't have too much free time to play it in. And when games piss me off like this one did, I just sit there thinking to myself, like, man, I'm playing video games right now. Like, this is my recreation time. And I'm pissed off right now. More pissed off than I've been my whole day. No one at work frustrated me this much. So why the hell am I spending my free time getting angry? But it's because you care, right? Like, a good game makes you care. So you care if you win, which means you're going to care if you lose. And if you don't care at all, then what the hell are you even doing it? You might as well be, I don't know, playing Pokemon Go, the game where nothing matters. And speaking of The Office and getting frustrated at The Office, there's really nothing more exhausting than being frustrated at work because you constantly have to keep your composure. Like, if you freak out at work, or even if you just say like the F word, it's like, it's a big deal when you're working in an office if you lose your cool or something like that. I remember the other week I was trying to help this guy in our office with his computer. He's a bit of an older guy. And he couldn't get, it's just a chat, like as if it was like MSN Messenger. He's trying to get his messenger to work with this person. He couldn't figure out how to send it. So I'm kind of trying to explain it to him, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, he goes, "Fuck!" And he slams his desk as hard as he can, and luckily none of our bosses were around, so no one heard it. But I was like if one of my friends had like yelled "fuck" and slammed their desk, it's no big deal, right? But like, because we're in an office where you don't swear, it was like one of those moments where I was like, holy shit, like that was insane. I didn't say anything. I just turned around and walked out, and then like an hour later, I was like, hey, if you're still having trouble with your computer, I'd be happy to help you out. And then it turns out he was. I knew he was. I could hear him from my office. He's muttering swears in there. Speaking of losing your composure, I had to get my 2 bits in at the end of this game because I was mad that I lost. And sometimes telling your team that they suck ass makes you feel a little bit better at the end. Anyways, thanks everyone for listening to another BS Ramble. I'm hoping that, like the other episodes, I'm going to get better at these. I was encouraged by listening to Bill Burr does like a free form talking thing like this, and I listened to his first episode ever, and it's like 10 minutes of him figuring out whether or not he's recording with his friend, being like, what the fuck do? I hit this button, so it's recording right now, right? Anyways, he started a long time ago, and now he's got an awesome podcast. So I'm hoping just by recording these things, I'm going to get better. So thanks anyone who's paying attention, and stay tuned for tomorrow's Two Stocked on Twitch. That's really what this channel's about, and I think that's the most fun thing that I'm doing. So have a good week, everyone. Thanks for listening.